I'm sure we've all had the experience of speaking with a lousy conversationalist or being a terrible conversationalist ourselves, or laughing at awful conversation shorts on YouTube or Instagram. And this is why we're going to talk about 10 conversational stoppers. And before we get into this, if you haven't already, please subscribe, touch the notification icon, make any comments or suggestions, and like the video if you do like it. Now, the first step to making conversations suitable is to know how they can go wrong. Talking with others and having conversations is a part of most of our everyday lives. Unless you're a hermit living in a cave, you usually or want to converse with others. And you may think you are a world-class conversationalist or would rather text or email than have to deal with the chatter of a conversation. But chances are we all have a few conversation habits we need to change. It's time to pull on the reins and review your conversation skills. I'm going to let you know the top 10 conversational faux pas that I think are important to keep in mind. Number one, your experience is my experience. And what I mean by that is you may be telling someone about a difficult situation you have found yourself in. Maybe you took a new job and you're finding the employer challenging to deal with. Straight away, the other person says, I know exactly what that's like. And then they proceed to tell you about their work experiences, to which you quickly realize is nothing like the situation you were attempting to share. We need to remember we all have different experiences, and you're better at listening compassionately to the other person and offering assistance related to their situation only. Save your story for another time. And the third rude conversation habit is the interrupter. You're in a conversation with your friend or colleague and something important pops into your mind while they are speaking, and you blurt out what is on your mind and whilst they are sort of mid-sentence. This is a common conversational mistake, but it's usually viewed as rude and disrespectful when it becomes a habit. Interrupting someone else conveys to whoever is speaking that their conversation is less important than what you have to say, a lack of respect, and you don't have time to listen to them. This will often lead to the other person not sharing the punchline or pearl of wisdom they wanted to share with you. It also leads to a lack of connection and others not wanting to engage with you in the future. The third, it's a me conversation. No one likes a conversation dominator. You know, that person that drones on and on about themselves, never stopping to ask anything about you, never pausing to allow you to speak. Or maybe you're the guilty one in terms of being the me conversation person. It can lead to others viewing you as inconsiderate and self-absorbed. We need to remember that everyone deserves to be heard and share their stories. A conversation is a two-way street, and it needs to allow both parties to share ideas. Remember to pause and ask questions about the person you're communicating with. The fourth is the scroll alert. In today's world, the phone appears to be permanently attached to one's finger. Look around a busy cafe and at lunchtime, and you'll see people sitting together while scrolling through their phones. The message here is it's more important to connect with people or information far away, that is, on the phone, than to focus on the person directly in front of you. Using your phone whilst in a conversation is in motion, signals boredom or that you'd rather be somewhere else. Just remember, whatever you're scrolling through will be there later, but the person or people in front of you will not. And fifth is always the winner. You know, that person who always thinks they're right and can't stand to be wrong. Maybe it's a family member or it's yourself. This person will usually spend inordinate amounts of time in the conversation proving they're right, even on topics they know such little amounts about. It can feel incredibly annoying and tiring being in their company. No one wants to talk with someone who is always thinking that they're right. Part of any conversation is sharing ideas with others and learning from others too. If a conversation leads to a debate, try to listen to the other person's point of view and empathize with where they're coming from. It doesn't mean you have to agree with them, but you don't need to win or prove you are right either. And the sixth point is one-upping. People who listen to you tell a story and immediately try to do one better, so bloody frustrating. Maybe you share that you finally got around to purchasing the new hybrid sedan car, and they follow with, "That's great, I'm buying the new Tesla." And it's been shown to be the car of the year. And it's far superior to the models released so far. Or you let your colleagues know you booked a trip to Tuscany in Italy, when we can go, that is, next winter, and you're looking forward to it. They reply, "Yeah, I went there with my wife last year, and it's not all it's cracked up to be. Far too touristy. I have some recommendations of good holiday spots I can send you to if you'd like." No one likes a one-upper, and it's a sure way to destroy the conversation in its tracks. People want to share their experiences without hearing that you've already had the same experience or something better. And the seventh point is, did you know? Gossip. Within every conversation, there is the desire to speak nicely about others and to gossip about them in a negative light. Gossip is at an all-time high due to social media pumping us with gossipy information to share. But we all have a choice. Rather than gossip about other people, which is often false information anyways, choose to steer away from the line of communication. If you find yourself engaged in conversation with a gossiper, take the higher ground and move the conversation to something else. The old saying still rings true. If you don't have anything nice to say about someone, don't say it at all. The eighth point is probing. Some questions are just not appropriate with certain people or groups, such as asking personal questions or political questions in a casual social setting or workplace. If in doubt, it's best to keep questions neutral. If someone is asking you intrusive or probing questions, they are ways to deflect your answer. For instance, someone might ask you, "How much money do you make?" You may say, "Not enough." Number 9 is the inappropriate comment. Conversation flow best when we respectfully regard each other's boundaries. If you find yourself making a comment that may be inappropriate, it's essential to take responsibility and apologize. Sometimes we do slip up and realize a comment was not okay after it let out of our mouth. Just be sure to acknowledge you know it's not appropriate to maintain the relationship with those you're talking to. And 10th, did you read the room? This one is so important in conversations. The expression of reading the room is so popular because it includes both self-awareness and awareness of others. You need to read the room and tailor your conversations to where you are and with whom you are. Take this example, for instance. It's like this work colleague says, "How have you been?" And you reply, "Pretty good, but I have an exam for a course I'm doing tomorrow and I need to get going." And the work colleague replies, "Oh, wow. What course are you doing? Where did you find the course? Can I ask you a bit about our work project now?" You're packing up your desk and you're putting things in your bag, giving concise answers and no eye contact. We need to read the cues in a conversation, and if someone is indicating they wish to exit the chat, we need to respect this. Maybe you can relate to some of these conversational bad habits. And if so, there is always time to improve. A conversation requires respect and consideration of the other person you're conversing with. And this is an excellent place to start. Maybe you're not sure if any of these habits are happening in a conversation, and it can be helpful to ask someone you trust to give you honest and trustful, transparent feedback. People we are close to are usually aware of our habits and our quirks, often before we are. And once you know if you are using any of these habits, you can then get to work making the necessary changes. Now, thanks very much for watching, and if you haven't already, please subscribe to this channel, touch the notification icon, make any comments. If you like the video, please indicate that you've liked it. Make some suggestions. I'd love for any suggestions with regards to future videos. Thanks very much for watching. Take care and beware of those bad conversation habits.